Carolina, I play the theremin and I'm answering your questions. In this video, I would like to give you an overview about the things you need to know when you are composing for the theremin. As the theremin is a young instrument, the repertoire is still a little bit limited, so my theremin colleagues and I are always happy about new compositions for the theremin. So, let's get started. The theremin is one of the first electronic musical instruments. It was invented in 1919 by the Russian physicist Leon Theremin and is the only instrument that is played without being touched. So it has two antennas. The upright antenna controls the pitch. When the right hand approaches the antenna, the pitch gets higher. The loop antenna controls the volume. Approaching the antenna makes the volume softer, and so the left hand is responsible for dynamics and articulation. There are a lot of different types of theremins on the market. I play on two different instruments by the company Moog Music. I'm mainly playing on my Etherwave Pro theremin because it's the most advanced one. Most thereminists use the Etherwave Standard at the moment because this is the one currently in production. You can improve it a lot by installing a module by Thierry Frankel. The range of the theremin is very big. It usually spans up to 7 octaves or more. When you touch the antenna, you get the highest pitch. Which is different on any instrument, different on each different theremin model. The lowest note is only limited by the capabilities of the loudspeaker. Most theremins can play the whole range at once. In contrast, the Etherwave Pro needs to switch between 3 different registers. You might need to know that most theremins have a nonlinear pitch field. This means, like on a violin string, the higher the pitch gets, the smaller the distances between the notes become. By leaning forward with your body, you can compensate this matter and the distances will expand. Because of the register switch, the Etherwave Pro does have a linear pitch field, so the distances between the notes stay the same through the whole range. To tune the theremin, you need to adjust a knob called pitch on the instrument. On the theremin, you don't tune to any specific note like the standard A. Instead, you need to adjust the electromagnetic field to your body. Nobody else than the player himself can do it because everybody influences the field differently. So basically, just imagine there's an invisible string coming from the antenna towards your body. The string might end just in front of your body or behind you. You want to change the field so the string stops just behind you. That means that you have the lowest possible note just behind your body. There are different ways to play the theremin. Because we are moving our hands in the air, there is a lot of freedom. However, there has been a development of certain finger techniques to hit the correct pitches. In 2006, I wrote a book about the 8-finger position technique, which I developed and which I'm still teaching to my students. My technique is based on minimal movements. Because every motion changes a note, you want to move your fingers and hand in a very precise way. With the 8-finger position technique, I can play a scale without moving my arm, only by using my hand and my fingers. So for every note in the scale, I have a certain finger position which I can recall. To play notes which are not within an octave, I move my arm. To play a vibrato, I move my arm in a diagonal way to the pitch field. I only move my arm, not my wrist or my fingers, so I won't change my finger position. Please remember, because we are moving in the air and because there's no mechanical guidance, there is a certain limitation in how fast you can hit a faraway note precisely. By the way, to find the right starting tone in the air, you either need perfect pitch, a tuning device, or you take a starting note from another instrument. So you may think as if you would write for a singer and write a note into the music which helps the thereminist to find his or her starting note. All the phrasing, dynamics and articulation is done by the left hand. To create a crescendo or decrescendo, I just move my arm up and down. For small articulation, I mainly use my hand, so I can play short staccato notes or accents or anything to phrase a single note. I use my fingers to slightly interrupt the sound between two notes, so I won't hear a glissando between them. On my theremin, I can select between different timbres. Again, this selection differs a little bit from different theremin models. Usually the player selects his timbre himself to fit the style of the music. But you can also write a description in the score whether you want a more sinus wave-like sound or a more open sound. I will now show you some of the sounds. Oh, sorry, what it did. Get the question, how do you notate a theremin part, or how does your score look like? Well, I wish I could tell you something more sensational, but my score looks like any other score. Usually, a violin or bass clef is used. Remember, the theremin is a monophonic instrument, so it cannot play more than one note at the same time by itself. You can also use graphical notation, especially because you can just draw anything into the air, could just paint something in your score, and the player would imitate it. It could sound something like this. Also, there is the option to write normal notes and mention that the pitches do not have to be taken too seriously, especially when you want to write some faster passages. So the player can then decide how precisely he or she wants to play the notes without going out of character. There are some cool effects you can do only on the theremin. I will give you some examples. Use the register switch to jump between octaves. Use other electrically conductive materials to create sounds. Or you can just touch the antenna like I did in this recording. You can even make bird sounds. Oh, delay is from an. This leads me to the next topic. At the moment, I'm working with 4 different effect units. I'm always looking for new possibilities and sounds, but this is what I've been using for quite a while now. So let me show you. This is a digital delay by Boss. Using a delay is nothing really new, so I'll just show you 2 different things I can do with it. First thing, having set the delay to a moderate setting, I can just build nice atmospheric chords. Second thing, with a short delay, which only has 1 rebound, I can get a cool effect which gives the theremin something like a chorus effect. This is the Super Octave by Boss. This basically gives you an extra octave in the bass. This is the Harmonist by Boss. With the harmonizer, I can add certain notes to my original note. So, for example, a 4th or a 5th. can also select a setting to play certain chords. This is a loop station by Boss. With my loop station, I can record a sequence and replay it and record even more layers on top of it. So that's my current setup. I'm not so much into distortion effects, but if you know any additional devices you think I should try out, please let me know. Alright, I hope this covers all the basics you need to create a classical composition for the theremin. Let me know in the comments if I forgot to mention anything or if you have any questions. You can also contact me directly on Facebook or write me an email. Thank you for watching, see you next time, and bye bye!